Most of my energy and time goes into the struggle to earn a living. Is it possible for me and those like me to be deeply unselfish and intelligent? Most of my energy and time goes into the struggle to earn a living. Is it possible for me and those like me to be deeply unselfish and intelligent? Do you want to go into this question? Why are you so eager? Not about the other. The other question about being practical and not abstract, not talk in abstractions. This is our life. It's our everyday life. Those who are lucky, they have their own means, and they don't have to work endlessly. There are very few of such type. And there are those who have been fortunate or unfortunate to gather money that doesn't necessarily belong to them and live a secluded, somewhat selfish life. And those are people who have to earn daily bread from 9 to 5, factory, office, labor, carpentry, and so on. We spend a great deal of energy in all that. And so this questioner says, I have very little time to inquire into this business of selfishness and intelligence. I have not much energy. My energy is dissipated in work, in doing, right? Is that so? One has to work as society is structured. One has to work to earn a livelihood. Or you can live on dole, or what's called in social security. We should really inquire whether how we waste our energy. Not all my energy is taken away through daily work, but we should inquire really how we waste our energy. Whether it's possible to conserve energy and use it when necessary and retain it when it's not. Am I making myself clear? How do we waste our energy? Please understand me. Not how to use energy, which requires, that energy which demands inquiry and being unselfish and intelligence, but we rather let's approach this question from a different point of view, which is to find out how we waste energy, right? Then it'll be very clear. Do we waste energy by chattering? Endless talk? Right? Most of us do. Endless talk. And is it a wastage of energy to be constantly in conflict? In the office, at home, and so on. right? Is not conflict within oneself and outside a wastage of energy. Not how to be free of conflict for the moment, but to observe how we waste our energy. Conflict, the concept or an illusion that we are individuals, and so fighting everybody, right, against everybody, enclosing ourselves in a little neurotic state, building a wall around ourselves through fear and so on. That's also a great deal of wastage of energy, right? And to pursue an ideal is a wastage of energy. Right? Not the ending of a fact. I don't know if I make myself clear. I mean, suppose one is violent. You pursue a non-violent, which is non-fact. The pursuit of non-violence is a wastage of energy. Whereas to understand the nature of violence, go into it deeply, the complexity of violence, and see if it is possible to end it. That's not wastage of energy. But to pursue a non-fact, which is the ideal, whether it's a political ideal or a Marxist ideal, communist ideals, is a wastage of energy. Isn't it a wastage of tremendous energy, building armaments against each other? No? I don't know if you have been listening to some of the television explanations of how Russia is building up its armament, America. As you listen to it very carefully, it all seems so insane, so extraordinarily irrational. So one wonders if one is going mad. Probably most of the people who are involved in all this are rather neurotic in different ways. Probably most of us are. So, to find out for oneself how we waste our energy. And the greatest waste of energy is to be concerned with oneself. No? Because to be concerned with oneself, with one's neurotic state, and not be unaware of it, to be concerned one's own issues and one's own problems, one's own achievements, is a very, very limited energy. It's very limited, and therefore your energy is limited. But when there's freedom from that, there's immense energy. But to be free from that concern with oneself and with one's hurts and in return wanting to hurt others, that concern with oneself is bringing about is bringing a great chaos in the world. To seek one's own enlightenment following your own particular little guru is such a wastage of energy. We'll talk about it more when we talk about meditation. So, is it possible not to waste energy along all these lines? And if you have that energy, what will you do with it? Will one become more mischievous? More violent? More beastly? So, in the conservation of energy, follow, which comes about by understanding the wastage of energy, conserving that energy, not that you conserve energy. When there is energy, is not wasted, there is energy. In the discovery how you waste your energy, there's the beginning of intelligence, right? That energy, that intelligence is not wastage of energy. That intelligence is extraordinarily alive. One cannot possibly be intelligent if one is selfish. Right? Selfishness is part of division, separation. I am selfish and you are selfish. In our relationship, we are selfish. So to understand the nature of the wastage of energy, not only superficially, but very, very deeply, out of that investigation, probing, questioning, one comes to a certain quality of energy which is the outcome of intelligence, not merely setting aside wastage of energy. I wonder if you understand this. Can I go on with it, or do you want to go to the next question? So we really should ask also here, what is intelligence? Are those people who are very, very learned, are they intelligent? I'm not saying they're not, I'm questioning. Are those people who are politicians and building armaments and so on, are they intelligent? Is intelligence merely the activity of thought? However, that thought be attenuated, more subtle, more complex. Is the very activity of thought intelligence? I hope you are questioning. One hopes that both of us are thinking together in this matter, in all these matters. Not that the speaker is saying and you are listening, but together we are investigating this question of intelligence, as we did the wastage of energy, and what's practical, what's abstract. So we are questioning together, what is intelligence? We are asking, is the is thinking, however subtle, however complex, all the activities of thought, including invention, putting very, very complex machinery together, like a computer, like a robot, like a missile, or the extraordinary machine of a submarine, or these beautiful aeroplanes. They're all the result of tremendous activity of thought. And also the activity of thought is how we use them. Right? Basing on our ideologies, use, profit, various forms of motives. So we are asking a very fundamental question, whether thought in all its extraordinarily complex activities and very superficial activities is intelligence the root of thought? Thought is limited. Because thought is based on experience, knowledge derived from experience, as memory stored in the brain, and the reaction to that brain is thought. If there is no memory, if there is no knowledge, if there is no experience, there is no thinking. Right? Every little thing on this earth, the smallest little thing, must have the quality of thought, instinct. But human beings like us, we have evolved, supposed to be. And our greatest instrument is thought. And that thought is actually very limited, because knowledge is always past, present, and future will be limited. Obvious. As in the scientific world, in the biological world, in the world of machinery, and so on, so on, so on. Anything born, brought about, put together by thought is limited. That limited thought can invent a limitless, but is still the result of the whole. Thought has divided the world into various and religions, and all the things that are in the churches, temples, mosques are the inventions of thought. You can't get beyond that, it's a fact. And what thought has created, then we worship it. Marvelous self-deception. So, we are asking, is intelligence the activity of thought? Or it is totally outside the realm of thought, which then can use thought, not the other way around. I want to make myself. So to inquire into the nature of intelligence, one must very carefully examine the only instrument apparently we have, which is thought. Thought includes emotion, sensory responses, and so on, so on, so on. All that is centered in the brain, which is the whole structure of human beings. The speaker is not an expert in the world of, with regard to the brain, but one watches one's own reactions, one's own responses, hurts, illusions, and so, watches. And one watches silently, not without any motive, then that watching reveals a tremendous lot. One learns a great deal more in silence than in noise. Right? That's a different matter. So, are we intelligent? Therefore practical? Therefore, never bring about a division. We'll talk more about it when we talk about the whole world. What is the significance of death, suffering, and the great question of compassion.